I think Angie is in the attendees list, but for some reason I'm not able to promote people.
Wait, can you also promote Mohammed because he said he's filling in for Breeze?
Okay, I think we need 2 more people to join.
We would just need a total of 10 board members. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I sent council a Slack message, so I'm still waiting for people to join.
Okay, thank you.
Um, Josh, since Breeze has a proxy here, does that mean like that counts as 10 people?
It does count. He just can't vote because Breeze can't vote unless there's a tie.
Okay, so we can start.
We can get started, yeah.
Okay, I call this
Recording
meeting
in progress.
um Patty.
I don't think proxies can go towards quorum because they're not elected officers. We can double check, but that's my understanding.
All right, hold on. Let me check real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, in the bylaws, it says a majority of members, oh no, sorry, that's for something else. But it's always council members. Like, we can move forward with the agenda, we just can't do any action items without quorum.
Do we have to wait until like 7:10?
Well, we have until 7:10 until we can move forward. If we hit 7:10 and we don't hit we don't hit full, if we don't have full quorum, then we can move forward with the agenda. We just can't vote on anything. So we can do public comment. We really can't do anything funding unless it's, well, we can't do any funding. We could do special projects. I'm sorry, special presentations. We could do officer reports, but we would not be able to do any new business.
Oh, I think we need to strike new business anyway, so it's okay. But I guess I'll just wait till 7:10 and hopefully someone joins. Okay, I think Carl is joining. Okay, I call this meeting to order at 7:09 p.m. Is there any amendments to the agenda? Angie?
Hi, can I strike ASRF and TGMF, please?
Okay, got it. And Jenny?
Hi, can I strike capital contingency, please?
Got it. And I'm going to strike the resolution and the presentation from new business. Sarah?
Can I strike bag, please?
Yeah. Any more amendments to the agenda? Okay, if not, can I get someone to motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the February 22nd agenda.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Okay, Tay motions, Emily seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, by a vote of 10 to 0 to 0, the agenda has been approved for today. Moving on to approval of the minutes from last week, which was February 15th. Can I get someone to motion the minutes from last week?
I move to approve the February 15th agenda.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Thank you. Tay motions, Emily seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. By a vote of 10 to 0 to 0, the minutes from last week has been approved. So moving on to public comment. So this is a chance for any member of the public to speak up to council to talk about any issues. Please be respectful. So if you're here for public comment, please raise your hand so we can promote you, and then raise your hand again so you can give your public comment. Radha?
Everyone, hope y'all are having a really good week 8. I just wanted to give my quick CalPERG update for y'all. We spent a lot of time this quarter building a lot of grassroots products, from petitions, letters to photo petitions, and we're going to be delivering all that work to our big lobby day this Monday. We have over 80 students that are signed up across the state, and we'll be meeting with state senators and assembly members on 2 bills. We'll be advocating to pass AB 2026, which would phase out plastic packaging in e-commerce to help with plastic problem we have, as well as AB 2146, which would limit the use of bee-killing pesticides to help protect our pollinators, since about 1 in 4 native bee species are at risk of going extinct. And I'd love to extend an invite to y'all if you're interested in joining us in any of these meetings. Again, it'll be on Monday, and I'll drop the link in the chat for you guys.
Thank you so much. Does any member of the public want to give public comment? Please raise your hand. Okay, if not, I'll be closing public comment at 7:13 p.m. Moving into funding, we have contingency programming.
Hey guys, hope you guys had a good long weekend. Here's the spreadsheet for the matrix this week. This week we have 2 USAC entities and 13 non-USAC entities for a total of $9,151.03. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Jenny. Can I get someone to motion to approve contingency programming?
I move to allocate $9,151.03 to 2 USAC entities and 13 non-USAC entities.
Can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor, please, or well, Sarah motions, Angie seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. Carl, are you voting? Okay, by a vote of 11-0, contingency programming has been approved. Moving on to SFS.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this week SFS is allocating $3,659.82 to 6 organizations, 3 of which are CSC entities and 3 of which are non-CSC entities.
Thank you. Is there any opposition? Okay. SFS has been approved. Moving on to SWC programming.
Hey, sorry, y'all. I forgot to scrap.
Oh, okay. And then ARC allocations.
Sorry, y'all, I came a little late, so I forgot to strike it.
That's okay. TGIF.
TGIF for us, we're just an announcement. We sent out all of or most of the decisions for our student support fund. So I think more than definitely 100, I think it might be 150 students will be receiving a $500 stipend for their unpaid sustainability work. So yay.
Thank you. So moving on to special presentations, we have a presentation by Radar at UCLA. Angie, can you let me know who to promote?
Yes, I think it's Gerald and Natalie.
Okay, cool. I think they're being promoted now.
All right, hi everyone. Hope you all are doing well. We'll try to keep this like quick because I know you all have like other agenda to attend to. Would it be possible to share my screen?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay, I'll get that started. Okay. All right, before I get started, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to present on Radar. Special thanks to Angie for opening up the floor specifically to allow us to present about our mission as well as like our goals for the upcoming year and moving forward. So to begin with, Radar is pretty much, so the acronym is Rheumatic Awareness, Disability Advocacy, and Reform. So our goal is to not only bring awareness to rheumatism as well as experiences that disabled populations may face, but also to address issues that can be found with how society might make it more challenging for disabled individuals to go about their daily routines. So some examples might be like in architecture, such as like staircases that might make it harder for disabled individuals to navigate that, or like even the lack of resources that can be found with the lack of resources provided from universities for people that need the accommodations. And some statistics to bring up as well. Disabled people are like the largest minority when it comes to college students, and in that minority, they're the smallest to get to college and also to graduate. And this can be due to like the lack of resources that are available to them or that aren't available to them, as well as other challenges that kind of come along the way. And as you can tell with like Strike for Safety, that has also posed like specific concern in regards to ignorance from university administration to making education accessible for immunocompromised individuals as well as disabled college students. And I open the floor to Natalie, our Radar president, to speak more about what we do.
So hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Santano, like Joe said, Radar's president. And so I kind of founded this club because I felt, as a student at UCLA, we don't really facilitate a lot of discussion between, disabled history and people who may not have as much experience with this sort of thing. And so I really wanted to kind of facilitate I guess, a way for people to kind of talk about these issues, but also learn more about them. And so Radar was born out of that kind of necessity on campus. And so Radar's main goal is to kind of raise awareness specifically for rheumatic diseases. I personally was born with rheumatoid arthritis and I was diagnosed at the age of 2. And I know that on campus we have a very large pre-med population, but ultimately disability advocacy and reform is something that everyone should be aware of and actively working towards. And so in my experience, through medical ableism, just accessibility issues, things in general that I'm sure our general populations have been made more aware of due to the strike that happened recently. I just thought that Radar, especially now, has a good opportunity to kind of, work our way into advocating, but also bringing awareness to lots of undergraduate population and stuff like that. And so me personally, during the COVID kind of year, I just felt very isolated. And so I decided to reach out to a kind of larger organization called the Arthritis Foundation, which we'll talk about in a second. But we've kind of partnered with them in kind of hoping to put some activities or some events on campus, as well as different like support group efforts and all that. And so here we are presenting to you today to kind of make you guys aware that we are a tool on campus that students can come to and kind of utilize, but also so that you guys can, hopefully help us with some of the projects that we're putting our effort into, and maybe we could help you with some of the projects that you guys have going on currently. So I'll pass it back to Gerald to kind of talk about our mission statement.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much. All right, so Radar's mission is pretty much broken up into two parts. So one thing is that we have an aspect of Radar, which is focused more on allies, in the sense that we focus on educating allies on disabled history, as well as ongoing social issues that affect disabled populations, and how we as allies can become involved in, I guess, social action and advocacy. So some things that we do are we have like meetings every week, whether that might be live as well as like recorded on the Radar website, which I'll show at the end. And we also have our blogs that also go over current events that affect disabled college students and just in general disabled populations. And then Natalie will also go into the second part of our org.
Yeah, so like I mentioned previously, we do work with the Arthritis Foundation. And you can go ahead to the next slide, Joe. So the Arthritis Foundation, it's a nonprofit organization dedicated to addressing the needs of people with arthritis, but those with rheumatic disorders or autoimmune disorders. And as we mentioned before, autoimmune disorders and rheumatic disorders do not have a known cure. And so, through medical miracles, I am here talking to you today, but had it been, even maybe 5 years prior, I probably would not be sitting here because, my medication didn't exist at the time. So I kind of got very lucky with the timing of that. But the reason why I picked the Arthritis Foundation was that when I was first being diagnosed as a 2-year-old and then growing up in that kind of medical system, I found a lot of comfort within the foundation because at no cost to me or to my family, we were able to go to certain events that facilitated kind of like a support group environment, but also they give children the opportunity to meet others like them. Rheumatism is a very rare disorder affecting about 300,000 kids in the United States, more worldwide. But we don't really get a lot of chances to kind of meet each other and to kind of talk about the experiences that we've had. And so the Arthritis Foundation kind of covers that. And by offering these events and offering funding, they allow students like me to kind of come up in the world and, reach our potential that we should be reaching. And so through them, I've kind of offered this support group for all LA college students. So if you or anyone has arthritis or any similar disease, feel free to share this with them if you think that they could benefit. But the Arthritis Foundation also offers a ton of other resources like a pain management app called VIM, a camp for disabled students, which college students can volunteer for over the summer. I think the local ones are Camp Esperanza or the Painted Turtle. They also offer conferences. So if anyone's interested in pursuing advocacy, like DC trips, talking to our elected officials about certain topics involving, putting a cap on medicine, enforcing the ADA a little bit more within colleges or anything of that nature. They do offer fully funded travel and board to certain initiatives like that. And so I think personally, since the Arthritis Foundation has helped me so much and they continue to help me even as a college student, this is kind of my way of giving back to them and also facilitating that to other students who might need it. And I'll pass it back to Gerald.
Thanks so much for sharing more, Natalie. All right, so on Radar's end, we want to or on behalf of Radar, we want to thank USAC as well as some other organization coalition and the DSU for coordinating the Strike for Safety, because it is an important issue to address when it comes to UCLA or just college administration being ignorant of the needs of immunocompromised individuals, as well as disabled students, as well as just like those who need like the accessibility for education. And when it comes to like future projects that USAC may like coordinate, we also extend our support with whatever way we can help out. And I'll pass it on to Natalie for the next slide.
And so one of the things that we're currently in the midst of planning, but putting on, is kind of a community event where we hope to partner with other organizations who are interested to kind of put on an awareness event, mostly focused on education. We have had something similar in the past. Back in 2019, before COVID shut everything down, we did have the Walk to Cure Arthritis for LA on campus. And you can see my picture. I was a very new Bruin freshman, just got accepted. But the main goal is to bring awareness and celebrate fundraising efforts. But for our community event, I kind of want to give an opportunity to not only educate and have fun, you know, both for college students and kids in the area, but also recognize all the student leaders and those advocates that fought for accessibility this entire, you know, pandemic and throughout the whole year. And so we thought it would be a good idea to kind of give people the platform to kind of talk about these issues a little bit more if they have more to say, but also kind of give them the platform to talk about and reflect about everything that they've done, you know, for accessibility this year. And so it's kind of great that we're talking to USAC because I know you guys were heavily involved in kind of the movement and getting it out there. And so we're very thankful to you, just me as a disabled person, for going through all that effort. And so I do want to give the opportunity to anyone who's interested, who wants to maybe help out with the event or participate in the event in some way, to definitely reach out to Radar if you want to. So yeah, that's all about our community event. This will be happening in May. We're not too sure the details yet because we're still working in coordination with UCLA Seoul and all that, but we will definitely provide updates as they become available.
Yes, so that's pretty much the end of our slideshow. And if USAC wants to connect with us, we have our email, which is like the best mode of communication for if there's like an interest in coordinating with upcoming projects, whether that might be with the Strike for Safety, as well as our upcoming community event in May. And then if you want like more information on everything Radar, we also have our website here. I could plug it into the chat later, and then our Instagram as well. But yes, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to present. And yeah, we hope to hear from you all soon.
Thank you so much for presenting and raising awareness about this to us. I also had a question. Is there like anything that like we as council members can do to like show some support to Radar?
Well, we are working out the details, but I guess when we come close to the time, we do want to make sure that we have a good, you know, turnout of the local college student population, because ultimately you guys are the future. You guys are going into your various, you know, careers, and that could really benefit us, you know, in the long run. But we will let you guys know closer to the event what we have for you, but definitely spreading the word. And if anyone wants to come, you know, talk at the event, we would be glad to have you.
Thank you so much again. Did anyone from council have like any questions? Okay, just wanted to say thank you again, and you're free to like leave the meeting and enjoy the rest of your night. Bye. Okay, moving on to officer reports. So, Mohammed, did you have an officer report from Breeze?
Yes, hello. So basically, I'm filling for Breeze today. Yeah, so first of all, I wanted to give updates. Breeze asked me to give updates about the strike for our safety. And then I'll go ahead and just give brief updates from the office itself. So as all of you know, on Wednesday, February 16th, the strike ended. It was actually the longest sit-in at UCLA history. It took 16 days. And Breeze specifically wanted me to thank Taiwani and Promise from Council on their immense support. And thank you to everyone who supported in general. So basically, I just wanted to present some of the progress that the strike for our safety was able to get. So in terms of the American Indian Student Association, by February 28th, the Chancellor agrees, guaranteed a meeting with AI students and the Special Advisor for Native and Indigenous Affairs to establish an AI living learning community. The Chancellor also will reach out to the Office of the President regarding fee waivers and scholarships for Native California tribal student applicants. By March 1st, the AVC Campus Life Office will contact ASA to move forward on establishing an American Indian Resource Center. By the end of spring quarter of 2022, the Philanthropic Naming Committee, oh my God, I can't speak, will be conveyed to discuss renaming Jan Steps to Kurvanga Steps. And by fall quarter of 2022, undergraduate admissions will work on ASA to develop programs for AI recruitment. However, we'd like to note that they did not yet commit to hiring another Native recruiter. So that is in terms of ASA. As for Pacific Islands Student Association, by February 28th, the VC of Student Affairs will reach out to coordinate meetings to move forward on establishing a Pacific Islander Student Resource Center. By March 1st, 2022, AVC Campus Life will reach out to PISA to discuss further retention efforts and potential resources. By the end of spring quarter, a subgroup will be formed of members of the Faculty Forward Initiative to continue on hiring PI faculty housed under AACD SD, but they still did not commit to hiring 10 PI faculty, which was requested. And by fall quarter of 2022, undergraduate admissions agreed to hire 1, not 2, Pacific Islander recruiters. As for the African Student Union, the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs agreed to immediately schedule monthly meetings with ASU Chair Simone and projects for 90 minutes once per month. VC Gordon also will schedule a meeting with VC of External Affairs to discuss endowment strategy and donor funding received already via the Rising to the Challenge initiative. And by March 1st, Monroe Gordon will contact Office of the President to discuss models for shared governance and establishing a board of governors for the BBRC. And then $50K in permanent funding will be made available to the BBRC by the Chancellor, which makes the permanent funding to $300,000 per year. And then the Student Affairs will additionally commit $100K in one-time funding for programming and will work on further efforts to raise money. By March 4th, there will be the first of 3 meetings guaranteed between the Black Alliance and the Chancellor. By March 18th, VC Gordon will review with Campus Human Resources the request to change the title of Project Coordinator to Project Director within the projects themselves. By May 20th of this year, the second of the 3 meetings will happen between Black Alliance and the Chancellor, and then June 30th will be the 3rd meeting. As for the Black Student Athlete Alliance, and I apologize, this is being very, very long, but I'm just stating it for the record to indicate the amazing progress that the strike had. So as for the Black Student Athlete Alliance, by February 25th, which is in 3 days, Vice Chancellor Gordon, his office will reach out to schedule meetings with the Athletic Director, Jarmond, ASU Chair, and representatives from BCAA, as well as meetings with VC Gordon and VC of EDI, Spain, Bradley. By fall quarter, Student Affairs and EDI will work together to create required anti-discrimination trainings to be provided to the students. As for the Mother Organizations Coalition, The administration agreed to immediately to do the following. Student Affairs will establish a liaison relationship with support from SOL to limit interaction between CPO staff and project staff. Complaints filed through EDI, Staff Diversity and Compliance, Title IX, and the whistleblower hotline will be reviewed by appropriate offices. Vice Chancellor Gordon formally recognizes the validity of SIOC and CRC statements of understanding and the return of autonomy to the committees and projects according to the statements of understanding. Vice Chancellor Gordon also commits to reworking previous unauthorized changes made by CPO to the hiring process in favor of ending post-interview meetings and ensuring student input. By February 18th, this should have happened. I am not sure if it happened or not, but I can get back to you guys if you'd like. Vice Chancellor Monroe Gordon, his office will reach out to the coalition to schedule monthly 2-hour meetings through the end of the academic year. By March 1st, Student Affairs will begin a climate improvement assessment through a third party to interview stakeholders and examine how to improve the state of student-run, student-initiated projects. By March 31st, first of 2 meetings between the Chancellor and the Coalition, and May 31st will be the second meeting between the MO Coalition and the Chancellor. As for the Disabled Student Union, immediately and on a rolling basis, Student Affairs will reallocate current student staff and hire additional staff as Zoom assistants to support faculty in conducting live stream options for classes. By February 28th, the Chancellor, Chancellor Block and VC Gordon commit to sending a letter to endorse dual modality to the Academic Senate. The deadline for the Academic Senate to communicate with DSU what it will also be on the 28th. And the communication will be on what exactly in their policy details the violation of academic freedom through dual modality. Basically, DSU will be illustrating that they are not violating academic freedom by having a hybrid option. And then the Chancellor and Vice Chancellor Gordon will draft a letter in support of the Lily Shaw Disability Cultural Center. By March 1st, Vice Chancellor Gordon will work with the undergraduate education and associate vice provost of the Center of the Advancement of Teaching to provide guidance on implementing ADA complaint, closed captioning, including sending guides for turning on auto captioning on Zoom and uploading lectures, and to access auto captioning. Mid-March, Vice Chancellor Gordon committed to hire additional center for accessible CAE specialists. And then the Chancellor committed to permanent funding for the ADA compliance officer and will place the position under EDI, not Student Affairs as it has historically been housed. And then by May 31st of this year, Student Affairs will deliver an assessment of longer term needs for and cost to install audiovisual equipment in classrooms. These were some of the amazing results of the strike. Obviously, the mother organizations, USAC, and DSU made it clear that the fight will continue on. Obviously, not all of the expectations have been met. Not all of the demands have been met. However, there was immense progress, and all of these organizations will be continuously fighting for the right of students to have access to an education in which the survival, the needs, and the livelihood of all students are taken into account. Lastly, I just have a few updates from our office. Obviously, the strike took a lot of our time, so not much progress has been happened. However, some of the directors were able to have some progress. The main two are the Future Students, Student Leaders of Color Conference will happen in April. They are currently meeting with a couple organizations to plan collaborations, specifically in some of the workshops that they're gonna have. And then the Student Leaders of Tomorrow Fellowship will also happen within the next month, as they have reached out to multiple schools, and it's going to be a success, hopefully. Aside from that, there are not that many updates from other directors. So my apologies for taking so much time. And yeah.
Thank you for all those updates. So moving on to IVP, some of the stuff going on in my office is that we're continuing or strengthening student well-being platform. We're continuing to meet with the Mental Health Coalition, and we're going to start 2 social media series or campaigns. One is raising awareness on social justice and organizing, and the second one is highlighting student words. And then we're also working with Bruins for accessible resources still on the housing resource guide. And we're trying to like update all of that and kind of like make it in like different languages. So like right now we're working on Spanish. And then we're planning some de-stressing events for finals. I'll be on campus and also exploring online options for students. And we're planning another event, which is a Q&A with administration. Those are the updates from my office, and then I'll be passing it off to Sarah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Cass. Great work, everyone. So on my office's end, we've been busy planning for the UCSA board meeting this weekend. It'll be Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to like 3 p.m. You're welcome to drop by, especially during public comment. If anyone has anything they'd like to present, I believe all the campuses will be present. So this will be a good opportunity to do some cross-campus advocacy work. Aside from that, we've been meeting with our SOL advisor and ASUCLA to plan the upcoming mayoral and CD5 districts debates. So the mayoral one will be more of a town hall, whereas the CD5 one will be more of a debate style. So that one is going to be the 28th of February at 6 p.m. Would really appreciate if y'all could share the link with your offices and be there yourselves. This is a really important race and really affects UCLA students depending on who is elected to office next year. Yeah, oh, and then some other resolutions that are being presented at board this weekend. I want to mention there was a resolution in support of reparations for Black and African identified students. That is part of our Racial Justice Now campaign. We'll also be passing a resolution in support of the plaintiffs of Pine versus LA's Community College District. And this is also a great opportunity for, oh yeah, and Armand and I are working on something related to Pine as well. As for like CPO issues or any unresolved like demands that haven't been met by administration from the strike, it could be also a great opportunity to bring up to the other EVPs at this board meeting. They've all expressed that they'd be willing to sign on in support of our demands, because it would definitely like help set a precedent at their campuses as well. So let me know if you want more information on when to show up and who to get in contact with. That's all for me. I'll pass it on to Angie.
Thank you so much, Sarah. In terms of academic senate updates, I had an exec board meeting last week and we discussed expanding ventilation systems in buildings on campus. And then in my UGC meeting on Friday, we discussed the possible implementation of a public health major in both BA and BS. And we will be voting on that next meeting, which I think is in 2 weeks. For the Academic Freedom Committee, my appointment said that they deliberated between audio recordings and hybrid learning models and the ethics behind both of those. And my senators and I will be writing a letter to Academic Freedom to address the concerns that they posed. And then my GE Governance Committee met with directors from Bridging the Gap under the Gen Rep 1 office to discuss a collaboration between their proposed STREAM initiative and the GEGC, and directors from Bridging the Gap are invited to present at the next meeting. So shout out to Haley and the Gen Rep 1 office, even though I don't think Haley's on this call, but really exciting work there. And then my course committee is working with SIOC to get SIOC projects listed on the UC application for high school students to check when applying to UC schools. And so we're currently discussing the process of taking that to UCOP and the UC wide level. And then today I had a meeting along with 3 of my other senators appointed to UGC. We had a meeting with the UGC chairs, and we basically just discussed how they can do a better job of acknowledging and maximizing student representation on UGC and on other Senate committees as well. And we discussed commitments from them on ways that the Senate can better work with students in healthier and just more productive and more efficient ways, like setting up more frequent one-on-one meetings with students and transitioning students before the school year even starts, so that students can get that training and get that knowledge to really be able to fully transition into their role and understand the best ways that they can put their projects forth and their advocacy forward with the support of the faculty in the Senate meetings. Other than Senate, I guess other things in my office, I had a meeting with the LGBTQ Resource Center today, and we shared resources. My office will also be working with their Student Advocacy Center on our SMART campaign to discuss fostering belonging and wellness. And my Sanctuary Campus Director has also been working with Haley to finish up the anti-queerphobia module that Haley worked on last year in AAC, which they will be presenting next week at council, I believe. My study space directors and I had a meeting with the UCLA library to finalize implementing the sensors in Powell to show the capacity of the study spaces in Powell. I also had a meeting with the Learning Management System Advisory Committee today, and during that meeting, they provided updates on Brew and Learn and Canvas. They said they're compiling resources for using Brew and Learn for both faculty and students, including how professors can upload their lectures through Kaltura, which is a closed captioning software. And as for closed captioning in general, LMS is working with the CAE and the Disabilities Computing Program to roll out a new system called Ally that will be able to detect whether an uploaded lecture has closed captioning or not, which will then prompt feedback to the professors. So if they happen to upload their lecture, it doesn't go through Kaltura and doesn't have closed captioning, then the software will like prompt them to re-upload their lecture through Kaltura. And yeah, my office is also working with them on our syllabus shopping initiative to get open access syllabi on Brew and Learn prior to enrollment. And then I think lastly, our social justice mentorship program, TILT, is still accepting applications for high school students and college students who are interested in building their own social justice projects and receiving funding for those. So the app is still open for that. And I will send the interest form in the chat, but that is all for my updates. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much, Angie. Moving on to administrative reports. So first we have George.
Hi everyone, quick update. We're having our next Alumni Association board meeting on, I had calendar in front of me, don't know what happened to it, on March 5th. And usually Breeze as president sits on it, but if I think you can talk to her to see if you would like to jump on. Very heavy strategic long-term planning stuff. We only meet a quarter, so it's a lot to go through. But it's open if you want to join and kind of represent the student voice at our alumni meeting. Other than that, no big updates. Just that it's my 2nd-year anniversary for my wedding, and that's it.
Thank you and congrats. Next we have Josh.
No updates from me. Just make sure that you all are taking care of yourself, and good luck as we enter finals. I can't believe we're going into week 8. It's unbelievable.
Thank you. And then Fernando. Thank you. And then Patty.
Hi everyone, good evening. No updates for me.
All right, so that's everything from admin representatives or just officer reports. We don't have any new business, so
You forgot Bobby.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. I just have couple things. We just a quick update on the funding workshop that's hosted last Thursday. First of all, big shout out to FICOM and Jenny for being present. We had a very nice turnout of approximately 30 groups. So we were happy. We were able to sit down and talk about the funds, including ACCLA funds that are still available to registered groups. We will be having a second workshop next week, and that one will focus more on best practices and sort of the pre-transition student groups should be thinking about as we enter spring quarter. All right, that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Orlando. Okay, now that is everyone. So there's no new business. So I'll be adjourning the meeting at 7:53 p.m. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Recording stopped.